Hello everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to the channel Bookables. Today I'm going to be talking about my favorite book to movie show adaptations. Obviously, adaptations are nothing new. They've been around for a while. I would say they really exploded, particularly with the YA book genre many years ago when YA was booming, and it still is, don't get me wrong, but I think Hollywood has kind of moved off the YA. You know, I say that, but they really haven't. But it was really booming, especially with the dystopian books. And with that have come a ton of adaptations. Have I seen them all? No. There are several adaptations that I have read the book but have not watched the movie or show because honestly I'm not really that big into it. I don't know how I decide which ones to watch and not to watch. It is what it is. But either way, today I'm here to share with you my favorite of those. I have a list of my least favorite. It's probably longer. But either way, we're not here to bash, we're here to talk about my favorites, so let's get into it. Hopefully I remembered them all. I'm sure if I didn't. First up, obviously, we're going to talk about Harry Potter, my first ever book adaptation I ever saw. You know, Harry Potter still holds a place in my heart and always will because it was the way I fell in love with reading, honestly. I love Harry Potter, will always love Harry Potter. I think the adaptations did fairly well. I think they got better as they went along. I remember when I was 12 seeing the first one in theater and it was magical, and I've seen them all in theaters since. I went to like the last 3 or 4 midnight premieres. It was just such a good time. As far as my favorite movie, I don't know. It's so hard. I need to rewatch them all when I have the time. I don't ever have time. You know what I'm saying? But my favorite Harry Potter book will always be The Prisoner of Azkaban because it was my very first plot twist I ever read that I was like literally like jaw drop shocked with. But I do enjoy the adaptations. I think they did fairly well with the source material. There's a lot of things they left out, like Spew. They could have really elaborated more on Dobby. You know, there's other things they left out, but I still really enjoy the adaptations and watch them time and time again sporadically. Next up, The Hunger Games is another great adaptation, and particularly Catching Fire. I think I can speak for a lot of us when we say that Catching Fire is not only our favorite book in the series, but it's also our favorite movie. I think both of them are just amazing. Like, I really enjoyed watching Hunger Games come to life. I think it was one that you could take. There are some book to movies, I think, that like you need to read the book, honestly, or you're just not going to get the movie as much. And it's hard for me as like having a husband that does not read. So it's like, I've taken in some book adaptations. He's like, I don't get this at all. But Hunger Games is one that you can definitely get on your own if you don't read the source material. But I thought it translated really well to screen. Like, it made me tense up and made me very scared for Katniss, and Catching Fire was just phenomenal. Like, it might be my favorite all time. Actually, I don't know. The next moon I'm going to talk about might be my favorite adaptation. It's probably my second favorite adaptation. Like, it's just so well done, and the casting is great, the setting's great, obviously. But you know what I mean? It just translated to movies so well. I don't love Mockingjay as much. Did they make that into 2 movies? I think they did. I didn't see a need for that. And I don't love Mockingjay. I think a lot of us don't love Mockingjay, but Catching Fire, as if we're talking about book to movie adaptations, is where it's at. 5 out of 5, phenomenal. Next up is my favorite book to movie adaptation. That is The Martian by Andy Weir. I love The Martian. So when I heard this movie was coming out, I saw the trailer, I was like, crap, I gotta read the book because I've heard a lot about the book. Ooh, and I read the book, and it's a fun book. It's one of my favorite sci-fi books ever, and I think it was one that I was like, I could really get into sci-fi with this book, and I've learned maybe like I'm just not cut out for sci-fi. I don't feel like I'm smart enough. I know it's like, that's a weird thing to say, but that's how I feel. But I love The Martian, and it translates to movies so well. In fact, I definitely know it's one of my husband's like favorite like movies I've ever shown him. Like, Matt Damon is Mark Watney perfection. I think it amps up the stakes more as far as the movie goes, because The Martian in the book, Andy Weir's known for getting a little like word heavy when it comes to scientific jargon and things like that, and it loses me a lot and doesn't have as high of stakes, I feel like, even though you're stranded on Mars. But the movie does a really good job of showing that, if that makes any sense at all. The movie's just great. I love it. I would give the book a 5 out of 5 and the movie a 5 out of 5. It's my favorite adaptation. It is one that I do watch a lot because it's a fun one to watch. You know, if you want a fun sci-fi where you're stranded and it's scary as crap for that, but it's also funny because of Mark Watney, this is great for that. Then we have To All the Boys I've Loved Before series. This was on Netflix. It was made into 3 movies because it is a trilogy. Laura Jean, it's a fun, cute one. I had a good time watching it. I remember watching the first one, and I forget the actor's name. Is it Noah something? And like when I was watching, I was like, he sounds so much like, and then I finally figured out, I'm like, if they don't make a movie soon where he is a young Mark Ruffalo and then have Mark Ruffalo, it is a travesty because they sound the exact same. But either way, I really had a good time watching it. I think it's a really cute one to watch. It's just, like the book's adorable and it translated to film adorably as well. Much like Love, Simon, this is the adaptation of the book Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I can understand why they changed the name because that's a mouthful, but again, I think the casting was great. It was an adorable movie that'll make you smile ear to ear from start to finish. So both of those are great YA ones that I really, really enjoyed and would recommend both the book and the movie. Little Woman. So I read Little Woman not too long ago, and I have watched the newest adaptation. Was that in 2020, I think, or 2019? One of those, and I really liked it. I still need to watch like is it the 80s or the 90s? You know, the one with like Winona Ryder in it? I still need to watch that one, but I really enjoyed the movie. Little Woman is such like a cute family sisterhood movie that I really liked, honestly. And I did enjoy the movie. I thought the casting was great. They kind of changed some things, but I think it made more of the characters fleshed out more, if you will. But I love it. I think Little Woman's a classic. So I still need to watch like the original one. It's not the, you know what I mean? Like the other one I'm talking about, the Winona Ryder one. And oh my gosh, words, what are they? I still need to watch that. I might like that more. I don't know yet. I have to see. I have Sister of the Traveling Pants by Anne Brashears. This is my first ever book series that I read that I fell in love with before BookTube. And I love Sister of the Traveling Pants. I identified with Lena. I love Lena. She was kind of artsy and quiet. I thought the adaptations were really good. I would like to see them do now, since they're older, the last book, Sisters to the Everlasting, where it kind of picks them up with adults and their life like that. I'd be interested in it. It's sad as mess, but I'd be interested in watching it. I thought the casting was great. American Ferrara, oh, I love her. Alexis Bledel from Gilmore Girls. Blake Lively, oh, who doesn't love Blake Lively? Like, she's freaking gorgeous. All of them are gorgeous. But I really enjoyed this one a ton. Then for the last of the movies, I have The Princess Diaries. Again, another book I read before I discovered BookTube. I don't think I finished the series, but I definitely remember reading the first book a lot, by Meg Cabot. Obviously, it's a classic kind of YA book. And the movie's fun. I love the movie. It's such a fun one with Anne Hathaway is kind of her big thing. Also with the guy Michael. Like, he's in one of my favorite bands of all time, Rooney. And the fact that they put a little snippet of his song in that is even better. So I think it's one of my favorite BookTube adaptations because they're just, like, it just puts a smile on my face. Both Sisterhood and Princess Diaries do. So those are all the movies. Next up, I have shows. I only have 2 for this one. I wanted there to be more, and I'm probably missing some. I tried to do my research as best as I could, but I'm probably missing them. You. I love the book You, in particular the first one. The second book is horrible. The third book I will never read, but I love the first book. The show is really good. Like, they put Penn Badgley, who is from Gossip Girl, in it, and that was the perfect casting for Joe. I love it. His voice is haunting. It's eerie. It draws you in, and you feel for him. Literally the perfect casting for Joe. They definitely have gone in different directions in the books, and I'm not mad about that at all, but I do watch the season as soon as it comes out because I am invested in it. So You is definitely one of my favorite shows for book adaptation shows, I should say. And the other one is Gossip Girl. So I have not read the whole Gossip Girl series, but I have read a good chunk of them. Again, I read these before BookTube. They were just very popular. They're by Cecilia something, I forget, but I read a good chunk of them, and then the show came out, and the show surpasses the book. I'm just gonna say it. The show definitely takes off on its own and does its own thing, and it's really good. I am a sucker for Gossip Girl, the show. It is one that I love. I refuse to watch the adaptation of it because it did not need to be made. I feel like it was not that long ago, but it really was. But I love Gossip Girl. If you don't know, Penn Badgley's in Gossip Girl, Blake Lively, Liam Meester, so many amazing characters, or actors and actresses in that. This is one that I will say, again, is better than the source material. But that's just me. That is just me. I have my list of book and show and movie adaptations that I really enjoyed. Again, I will say repeatedly, I missed some because I know I did. If you know of any that I missed, let me know. And if I maybe didn't mention it, I maybe did not enjoy it. I do want to make one that's my least favorite because I got a lot of those, and I don't like filming things with like least favorite because I don't like bashing things, because it just might be interesting to share what I loved and now what I don't like. So if you want that sooner than later, let me know. I'd love to know what your favorite book to movie and book to show adaptations are. Please let me know because I would love to talk about it down with you in the comments. I'm gonna get better about commenting back, I promise. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.